Thanks for watching AM Northwest. Career decisions can cause just as much stress and anxiety as getting married or the loss of a loved one. Here to share 3 myths to overcome in order to have the career and the life you love, we welcome back career strategist and professional brand expert, Dr. Carol Parker Walsh. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Let's talk about some of the myths that you're concerned about. And you say one is that we believe we're meant to do just one thing in the world and have the one perfect job.
Yeah, totally. You know, there's quite a few myths. So I just wanted to really focus on what I believe were the top ones because, you know, they're the myths that I'm too old or too established to start something new, or I have to make so much money to be happy. There's a lot of other myths. But yeah, this one, you're meant to do just one thing, is something that really people struggle with. And for me, it's the difference between searching for your passion or your purpose. And by that, I mean that, you know, we change, through our lifespan, we change, we have different interests, we have different needs based on what happens in our family and our life. So how we want to work and how we want to put our skills and gifts in the world will change throughout our lifespan. So this idea that there's this one perfect job. Now, there are some people who do have a job. They're like, I would do this until I die and I love it. That's great. But a lot of people are what I call multi-passionate. And so there's a couple of different things that they would love to do throughout their career. So having the opportunity to really get clear on what are my gifts and talents? Like, are you someone who loves to talk to people and have a great, you know, rapport with other people? If that's like a natural gift or skill, then maybe you should be a talk show host, right? You know, or if you really love to teach people, like if that's just a natural gift where you love to instruct and educate and share information, then maybe you can be some type of teacher. But that also means you could be a trainer. That also means you could do so many other things by applying what you're good at and really living through your purpose, as opposed to thinking there's just one job that's going to define me and that's the only thing that I could do. That gets people trapped in positions and jobs that they're not happy with, that they're not comfortable with, thinking that, well, this is all I could do or this is all I should be doing.
Right. Another myth is that you have to figure out what you want before you get it, as opposed to figuring out the process.
Absolutely. You know, how do you know what you like until you try it, right? You know, that's with really anything. You wouldn't buy a house unless you walked around it and, you know, kind of, you know, looked at the bathrooms or things of that nature. You wouldn't buy a car unless you test drove it, right? So the same thing works for your career. And what people don't realize is that you can look at volunteer opportunities that you've taken before, and maybe there's something in that work that you think, this is what I really would love to do. So maybe let me find a position that's similar to the volunteer work that I've done. Or you can do an internship.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, but it seems like I've known people who volunteer for an organization and then down the road they become employed by that organization because they worked out so well.
Exactly. And it's because they were doing something that they weren't getting paid at, but they really enjoyed, or they were utilizing some skill sets that they didn't realize that they really love to use more on a daily basis as opposed to just periodically. The other thing, doing adult internships or, you know, regular internships, you know, trying things out before you actually step into them. I remember when I thought I wanted to be a mediator after I was practicing law for a long time, I thought I wanted to become a divorce mediator. So I interned with one of the top family mediators in Oregon and realized quite quickly this is not what I want to do. So
mediating divorce people, potentially divorced, that doesn't sound easy to me.
No, and she was fabulous at it, but I'm like, this is not where I want to go. But if I hadn't tried it, had I just said, oh, I think this sounds like fun. I have mediation skills. Let me just do that. I would have jumped into something and would have been miserable. But trying things out, you learn what you want to do through the process of trying things out. By the process of just going, you know, volunteering, interning, talking to people, sitting down, watching people do their work, you know, all those are the ways that you really discover what you want to do next. So you can't just sit back and think, oh, this will be fun. You have to take proactive steps to really figure out what it is that you want.
Another thing is that you mentioned the myth about once you make a career shift, you can't make another. You've a prime example of that as well. You've changed your careers quite a few times.
Absolutely. But here's the beautiful thing about it. And this really goes back to the first point. when I look over the course of every position or job or career that I've had, there's been a unifying message, which is really about supporting and uplifting and helping other people. Whether I was an attorney, a consultant, or was in HR, or doing the coaching that I do now, it all has a similar theme. It goes back to I was applying the skill sets that I have about motivating, inspiring, and educating other people in every career that I had. And when you understand the through thread of really what you want to do in the world, you can hold different careers. So there's no reason to just stick with one. And every position that I've held has given me so much great information, so much insight into myself that has just helped to up-level my skill sets to be even more effective in what I would want to move to next. A lot of times people don't want to make the shift because they're either afraid what people will think, they don't want to be seen as someone who is like flaky or not really know what they want to do. So people will stay stuck based on other people's opinions about themselves, as opposed to really engaging and doing something that they love and making those shifts because life changes. Part of the reason I made a lot of those shifts was because I moved or I had kids or my life circumstance changed. And so it required me to kind of look for different things in different parts of the country and really leaning into my skill sets and what I can offer to find something that really made the most sense for me.
Absolutely. Dr. Carol Parker Walsh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.